Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I will try to be brief. I know it's been a long, very substantive hearing. Just to appreciate an opportunity to raise a couple of points. The first for Mr. Kyle. Mr. Kyle, in your written testimony, you heeded how a road charge system could create a greater burden relative to income for lower income households. So what are some ways that Congress could address concerns of equity in exploring these alternative funding mechanisms and formulas? And I would welcome Dr. Hendren's thoughts on the same matter.
So you're correct to note that a road use charge that was uniform would impose larger costs relative to income on lower income households. In that way, the characteristics of that, I think, are probably similar to the characteristics of the gasoline tax. As for options, that's really something that I would need to leave to you and your colleagues for ways to ameliorate the effects of that on low-income households.
So to add on to my colleagues' statements there, I think the key part is today the fuel tax approach is a regressive tax, as you are aware. And so as we move forward, we do have the opportunity with a user-based fee to change how we fund transportation and to be smarter about that. So I think it's an incredible opportunity that's kind of at our feet that we can grab hold of. And we can make sure that we go forward in a way that doesn't put a higher percentage of household cost on our lower income households for transportation. Okay. So transportation to me is how we create opportunity in our country. So how can we make sure how we pay for it continues to open up those doors of opportunity.
Thank you both. A lot of work to do to address that. Next and final question is for Mr. Schinkel. In your written testimony, you noted how the Surface Transportation System Funding Alternatives Program has helped 14 states to explore road usage charge systems. Additionally, 12 states have introduced legislation related to road usage charge so far this year. In addition to funding, how else can the federal government best support states as they continue their critical work to study and pilot road usage charge programs and similar concepts?
That's a great question. I think, first of all, having a hearing, and thank you very much, Senator Padilla, for the question. I think, first of all, just holding hearings like this and including the voices of stakeholders from the states, I think it would be great to hear from, obviously, Dr. Hendren is here representing the Eastern Transportation Coalition, but perhaps hearing from Oregon and Utah, the states that have the actual operational RUC programs, and then your home state of California is doing a lot of really incredible and interesting research and has been really piloting and looking at a lot of different payment options, which I think will be important to consider. Washington's doing a lot of interesting stuff. Hawaii was alluded to before. So maybe hearing from some of those states would be another advantageous thing to hear a little bit more about exactly what they're doing, because they can really get into the weeds of exactly what they're doing and what kind of systems RUC systems they're trying to potentially build.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for a response. A lot more work to do, a lot more data to gather. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks.